In 1995, I was teaching maths and physics to 9th class students in a school called SIIMA school in Lal Bazar in Secunderabad. And 20 years later, now I am a cinematographer for India's biggest motion picture called Bahubali. It has been a tremendously challenging and tremendously exciting journey. I would like to share a few of my experiences and ideas with you. Probably it might help you somehow. Before starting, I would try to showcase a few clips from my work. It is actually an assembly of few shots where I am emotionally connected to them. Now, how does a transition from a school teacher to a cinematographer happens? In my case, it was sheer luck, destiny, or whatever you call it. One of my friend wanted to join Film Institute. He got the application form. Then he realized that he was underage, so gave me the form so that the form is not wasted. I applied for it. I got through the All India entrance exam. Then went into the cleared the interview. So then it was like the first few days at the Film Institute was a journey filled with excitement and uncertainty. Excitement because I was one of the few guys who cleared the entrance exam in the very first attempt. Uncertainty because I don't know what lay ahead of me. I have no idea. No connections in the film industry, nothing. My father was from the army, so my cousins are from the army, so there is no, no path, no one to guide me how to go about it. It was a completely new and uncharted territory for me. So now, at this point of time, it was like this. Then when the course started, it was extremely boring. I couldn't make the head and tail of it. They were talking about some ideas and scripts, how to develop all these kind of nitty-gritties of it. It was like, I was getting depressed. I was like, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Because I come from a very middle class family, and this job I was doing as a school teacher was very important for my family. And now I am studying something where I am feeling very bored, and at the same time not providing finances. My parents were very supportive. I am extremely thankful and eternally grateful for them. I stuck on for some time, and then I got interested in the visual aspect of cinema. I started believing that since movie is a visual medium, visuals or images are the most important aspect of filmmaking. So when I started observing, then I started falling in love with the visuals. Then in the process I realized that light is a very important element in my craft. So I need to understand, observe and manipulate light. So I can give images which are emotional or images which are magical. I started observing things when I went to an Irani cafe. The atmosphere and light is completely different than from a 5-star hotel. So I had to observe how light falls, how the ambience is created. So that when I create a work on a setup or a studio set, I recreate the same image. So if I want, I could manipulate it, but first of all, it is important to recreate the originality of the ambience, then you stylize it in whatever you want. So that actually excited me very much, because wherever I go, I started observing light. Like I suppose that the people are sitting on this table. I am like thinking of how the light is falling on their face. Behind it is dark. So this gradual progression of light is there. So it is like every day, wherever I go, I started observing light, and wherever I got a chance, I tried to recreate things. Then after finishing my course, I came back to Hyderabad, aimed with a degree from India's premium institute called FTII, thinking that I'll get a red carpet welcome, but nothing like that happened. I had to go through my own struggle and finally landed up doing films. My biggest challenge in my career came when I was doing this film called Yamadonga. Before that I did films, but they were majorly outdoor films. Like one film happened in the forest and one film happened in the playground. So it was like majorly I had to use sunlight as my major source of light. Here in the studio floor, when I was supposed to do Yamadonga, and the floor where we put up the set was Asia's largest floor. So I was going to light up India's biggest indoor set. So that was actually very intimidating. And then I started doing some research on how people shot mythology, because it's a mythology based film. Then one point caught my attention, that whenever I see mythology films, there are lots of shadows around the character. Like I'm standing here, 4 shadows are following me when I'm moving. That was distracting to me as an audience. So then I told to myself that when I do this, I would not want my audience to get distracted with something which is not wanted at all. So what should I do? So I came up with an idea of using diffused light, or what I can say, skimmed light, shadowless light. So what happens, how do you get the shadowless light is, you need more number of lights. For example, if you need 100 lights to light up a set, if I want shadowless light, I need to skim it or diffuse it. So for that, I might need 4 times, 10 times the amount of light. So now my biggest challenge now here again was how to convey my producer. That is the biggest challenge, because okay, producer was willing to give me certain amount in his budget allocated for lights, and suddenly I come up and tell, no, I need X amount of light. So I was going through a lot of turmoil, like, okay, this is what I want, but this is the challenges I have to face. They say like the fear of wolf is bigger than the wolf. That was true in my case. After like going through a week, 10 days of tension of how to tell, finally I went to my producer and told, sir, like I am thinking of doing something different. So for that I'll need, this is the light scheme I am planning, so I need this kind of a budget. He's like, yeah, if you want it, take it. I was like, I should have asked it 10 days back. I'd have had a nice time. I would have focused my thoughts on something else. So what I would like to tell you is, like, if you have something, you please coordinate with your team members so that you don't know what they are thinking. So it's always better to come up and talk in open. So now, after lighting up, after everything, the few days to shoot, so we were doing some test shoots. And actors were looking good in the soft light, and the sets were coming out well, the shadows were not there, but my director was not happy. I was like, I did so much research, so much everything, convinced my producer to spend money on it, but what? Then he told, like, the characters were wearing all jewelry, kirit, lots of diamonds and jewelry were there. He's telling, I am not seeing the glitter. I am not interested whether the light is soft or not. The director was more interested in seeing the glitter on the things, because we spent so much of money on it. So I was like, it was looking like I'm going to come to full circle again to the first point where, okay, if you know anything about light, soft light doesn't give you glitter. Only the glitter comes through specular lights, and specular lights create shadows, which I did not want in my film. So after lots of thinking, me and my team came up with something called a glitter box. We named it a glitter box. It was a very simple idea, but thanks that my director was not happy, I came up with that. We had a small 4x4 box with something called bare bulbs. I don't know, nowadays you don't see bare bulbs, but bare bulbs are tungsten bulbs without any diffusion layer. You can actually see the tungsten bulbs. We had some 10 or 15 bulbs just behind the camera. So diamonds and stones, being very reflective, catch even the smallest speckle of light. So they fulfilled the requirement of my director, and I got the soft light. So it was a win-win situation for both of us. So after doing this, big setups and big sets did not intimidate me at all. But a fly intimidated me after that. Because my next film was, my director told we are making a film on a fly. It's called, in Hindi it was made it as Makki. So that was, that started really intimidating. I was like, now the biggest challenge was how do you see the life from a fly's perspective? And we had no reference point, nowhere in the world people have done it. The only reference was probably animation films, cartoon films. It is very easy to place a camera in an animation film, but real life, probably it is very difficult. So, and the main character was not going to be present on the set. It is going to be a CG character. So now again, one more challenge is the main character is not there, we are going to shoot it. So for that, we did enough research. And the interesting aspect of the research was, we told all our assistants, director assistants, set assistants to go and catch flies. So they caught flies and they came. And we realized in our research that flies, when exposed to cold conditions, are slightly become unconscious. So we need to create our hero, so we need extreme close photographs of fly. So we would take the fly, put it on the table, light it up, and we had to be very fast because in 2 minutes they will gain consciousness and fly off. So we finally, like in the process, we realized that there are so many different types of flies. So it is not like, okay, one fly or two fly. There are like some hundreds of varieties of fly. Now, how do we pick up our hero from this? So here we took CG assistants. So like whatever was good in different flies, we just combined together and we got our hero, the fly. Now I'd like to show you a small clip from that film, which would actually, I think it will be very interesting. So that's how we had to. So for getting these images, we did enough research. And finally, after working for so long from not knowing ABCD of filmmaking to doing a highly scientific or like in terms of research-based film called Eega, came the magna opus called Bahubali. So whatever I have learned all these years was put to optimum use. The biggest lesson I learned in Bahubali was teamwork. You need to get respect of your team and you need to stay focused because it was a project which was there for almost 5 years, right from the time we started to it is going to be released in a few days. It is and been a completely dedicated, hard-working and a collaborative effort from everyone. So the biggest challenge was being motivated every day because we were trying to, because my producer believed and invested almost 450 crores on a project and we need to stay motivated every day to make a world-class product. And I am very happy that the recent trailer which gained some 65 or 70 million views is probably India's most watched video on YouTube and on online. So I'm very happy that we could motivate so many people because of whatever hard work and everything we did. And finally, I would love to conclude by saying that whatever you do, whatever your craft, whatever your profession, you should know what you are doing. You know your craft, you work hard, do your research, whatever is necessary, and never compromise on your vision. Like I had to work between the glitter and the shadow which was there. So I never compromised. I did my work, research, and found out that, okay, how to satisfy the team. And finally, it is the team respect. Once the team gets your respect, the whole dynamics of how you work changes, and you can provide a world-class or the best possible result which you can do. Thank you.